The music video that never happened. So back in 2008 through probably 2012, I was really heavy into shooting television commercials and music videos for local, business owners and local artists and such here in Austin. And it was during that time that a friend of mine, a well-known rapper here in Austin, hit me up and said, "Hey, I've got this group out of Houston. They're up and coming, they're badass, they can sing." Their name was Persuasion, actually, now that I remember. Their name was Persuasion. And he says, there's a doctor that's funding them, so they've got plenty of money behind them. And I don't know if it was maybe the mother of one of them or the aunt or a friend or that. I don't remember the specifics. But I just know it was a doctor from Houston that had money. Okay, cool. Well, what do they want? So he told me, we want to rent Music Lab, and Music Lab on East St. Elmo is, rehearsals for bands and such. And they had this, on the side, they had like this area that was like a big stage set. Basically, you can make it look like a concert. And I was like, okay, cool. He goes, we want to rent that out for like 6 hours. And then this is, their idea for the storyboard and whatever. I said, okay, cool. I'll tell you this, give me $3,000. Anything after that, you can keep. I really don't care. I just want my 3 racks and I'm good. He said, okay, cool. He got with the doctor. They basically approved everything. Everything was cool, right? So the day we're supposed to shoot, and I don't remember the actual date, whether it was a Monday or a Friday or Tuesday, whatever. But we were supposed to shoot, I think it was 5 to 11 or 6 to 10, something like that. It was only like maybe a 4 to 6 hour window that we had the place rented out for, which they had also paid for that. Okay, cool. Now remember, they're coming from Houston, Texas. So we had to make it look like it was basically like a concert, but of course with editing and with extras and the angles and this and that, we can make it look like it was like 200 people in there or whatever, right? I think we might have had like 20 girls and like 10 guys or something. I don't remember. So anyways, let's just say the start time was 4 o'clock. The girls and everybody started showing up like 3:30, 3:45. Now remember, the group was supposed to be there like an hour and a half earlier, okay? So remember, I've never met these guys. These are young men, probably, 16 to 22 years old maybe. So now I'm waiting, okay? So got the cameras ready. We're shooting all this B-roll. 4 o'clock, the group never shows up. And by the way, I already got my deposit, okay? I think it was like $1,500 because at that time it was like 50% up front, the other 50% when I'm done. So when it's edited and you get the final approved copy and so on. So anyways, 4 o'clock comes, the group never shows up. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and they were sending texts, oh yeah, we're on our way, we're coming from Houston, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So bottom line was, people were getting upset. They're like, screw these guys, they ain't showing up, blah, 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 blah. So people started leaving. I'm like, hey, I'm still getting paid regardless, so we'll figure it out. They showed up. Check this out. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. They ended up showing up like 1 hour, an hour and a half prior to the time that we had to turn in the key for that studio, for the big stage area, whatever. An hour and a half, and then they show up. There was either 4 or 5 guys in the group. I don't remember. 2 or 3 showed up. I don't remember that. It was just only a few of them. 2 or 3 had shown up. And I was like, okay, well, thank you for coming. Now let's see what we can do. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, the majority of the people left. Where are the rest of your guys? And they said, well, we had to turn back around and go to Houston. I said, what do you mean? They started fighting in the car, arguing in the car over whatever, I don't know. So they drove back to Houston to drop off 2 of the other guys. They got tired of them. They dropped them off, came back, and thought they were going to shoot the whole video like normal, like we had agreed in the storyboard and everything. I was like, no, it doesn't work that way. So now I'm scrambling, trying to put this music video together with obviously half of the group, maybe a third of the original people. And I was like, okay, look, now keep in mind, I forgot to mention this part. The very next day, I had also scheduled the TV station because we were going to shoot on green screen over there. So we did what we could at Music Lab. The very next day, now keep in mind, I'm thinking the other two guys from Houston are showing up. They never showed up. They were apparently still mad at each other, whatever. So now I still have the two or three that originally were there. The lady, the doctor was there as well. They came through. So we shoot what we can, okay? And then they're like, oh yeah, I forgot this part too. It was supposed to be like 4 hours worth of, or 4 hours was scheduled for the studio, okay? For the station studio. And they said, we only got an hour. I go, what do you mean you only got an hour? They said, we got to get back to Houston because we're flying to New York to go do 106 and Park. And I said, okay, wait a second, hold on. Look, you guys paid for a music video. This basically got half-assed the day prior. Now with this, you're telling me we only got an hour worth of shoot time. We still only got half the group. How are we supposed to do this? And one of the guys looked at me and said, you the director, you figure it out. And I looked at him, I said, bro, I said, you guys haven't given me what I need to be able to figure it out. Everything's constantly changing. So bottom line, I pulled the lady to the side and I said, look, this is what's going on. Obviously, you know, this is very disorganized, bum, 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 bum. I said, we can figure this out for a later date, or we can just, you know, I can just give you all the footage. I'd keep the deposit. You go and do what you need to do, try to film the rest in Houston. I'll give you whatever tapes I have, and we call it that, because this is obviously not going to happen anytime soon. So she was kind of, I don't want to say she was upset, but she wasn't happy, but I made her understand that I was not the issue. It was the group that was the issue. I kept my $1,500. They kept the tapes because I gave them all the original tapes. I don't know how much they had paid my boy, because once again, all I wanted up front was $3,000. I ended up keeping $1,500. I don't know what they happened or didn't happen. That's on them. But yeah, that's an interesting business story of the realities of production and how it works and how you have to be on point. And when you involve so many other people, so many things can go wrong. And when you're a group or whatever, you're arguing. So yeah, there's another business story with Hamid Yaz.